do business with bad people. You'll never make a good deal with bad people.
How important should money be as a motivation to working hard and being successful?
Zero. Never thought about it. The money's going to come. If you do your job well, you're smart about it, continually reinvest, the money's going to come.
How important has extreme preparation been to your success?
I'm probably not as extreme as you are. I'm impressed how extreme you are, so congratulations.
Will you announce on my show today whether you're going to run for mayor again or, as rumored, governor of California?
Yeah.
Welcome to In Search of Excellence. My guest today is Rick Caruso, the most influential real estate developer in Los Angeles, who has reinvented the retail shopping experience by turning shopping malls into lifestyle destinations. His company Caruso owns 10 major retail and lifestyle destinations, including Palisades Village, including the Grove, which has over 20 million visitors a year, which is more than Disneyland. Rick ran for mayor in Los Angeles in 2022, lost by a very narrow margin, and we're going to talk about today what his political aspirations are. Rick,
thanks for having me.
Welcome to In Search of Excellence.
Good to be here.
All right, so now I'm going to talk to people who don't live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
West side of Los Angeles. I live in Brentwood. Pacific Palisades is next door, and you built the Palisades Village, which finished in 2018. Erewhon is a grocery store that has a cult-like following. There's people who fly from New York just to eat there, if you can believe that. I read that somewhere, which is insanity.
Yeah,
but it is a place
big
on its own. And we're going to talk about your private fire department in a few minutes. When is it going to reopen? Because I got 300 DMs from people. You got to ask Rick, when is Erewhon coming back? When is that center reopening?
Well, the whole center is going to reopen in August. So what we're doing right now is we're literally gutting the inside of it. Which I know you'll talk about, but the property survived the fire. But what I really wanted to do was to assure everybody that place is safe as can be. So we gutted the inside of
What does
every
that mean, you gutted the inside? Because it's open space.
We took out all the drywall, the spaces that we took out. On the inside of the space, we took out, so there's no smoke, there's no lingering contaminants. We ripped all the drywall, all the improvements.
Of all the stores?
All the stores. Went down to the studs, all the apartments went down to the studs.
You can't see it from the outside at all.
You don't see that. That's what's happening right now on the inside of the space. Took it down to the studs. Then we treated the studs, and then we had a engineering firm come in and test to make sure it's perfectly clean, and it is. And then we're rebuilding all the spaces. So we will reopen fully operational next August, and I think Erewhon will open a little bit after that. They've got a little bit longer building period, but I'm pretty confident they'll be reopening with us.
Let's go to January 7th. I work in Brentwood on the fourth floor of the Comerica Bank building.
Okay.
And I'm writing a book. I got my phone off, my computer off, but my son was in town that day from college, so I got my phone up, right? We're supposed to have lunch or whatever, and he's not supposed to call me till noon, but just in case he calls. So the school calls, Pele Elementary, where my then second grader went to school. And okay, they call again, and they're always calling. This is Principal Herman, brought to you by Caruso with a message, right? And so I never pick up the phone. I pick up the phone, evacuate because of the fire. Look out the window, and I'm like, holy smokes, for lack of a better word. You can see the fire on the ridge,
right?
And pick up your kid immediately. So I basically look at the fire, which is 3 miles away from my office. You can see it, and it's black smoke. It's like a tire burning, at that point. And I get there, and I'm driving down Sunset like a maniac. It's a windy road, as you know, and it's double yellow, and I'm honking at people, and the only people passing me, police cars, fire engines. You get to the school, there's 4 schools nearby, right? You can't park anywhere, so I double park. I ran into the school. Pure pandemonium, right? They're calling your kid on the walkie-talkie. I remember carrying Carter out in my hand like a football, running down the street. She's like, hey, Dad, put me down. When did you hear about the fire?
Early that morning. It was probably around 10 o'clock from one of my kids. From my son, saying, Dad, there's smoke. And he was on his way to our house in Brentwood. He lived in the Palisades. Was on his way to our house to use our gym. He uses the gym after I use the gym, so it's fun. We get to see each other in the mornings. But yeah, I learned about it then, and then we monitor it, obviously, and we had our people embedded in the command station watching it.
I hope you're enjoying this video so far, but before we jump back in, I want to know if you've ever thought about what you need to do to reach the next level of success in your life. Over the last 25 years, I've been an advisor to more than 50 companies. I've invested nearly 100, including Google, Lyft, and Seagate, and I also co-founded a company that today is worth more than $15 billion. I've been incredibly blessed in my journey, and at this stage in my life, I want to give back. I want to share the lessons I've learned so you can reach incredible success way faster than I did. In my own journey, I've learned that having the right mentor is a massive advantage to achieving our goals. I'm hugely passionate about mentoring others, and I'm looking for a few hungry entrepreneurs who are excited to take action on their journey to incredible future success. So if that's you, I've got an opportunity. In the description of this video, there's a link where you can apply to work with me. All you need to do is answer a few simple questions, and if you're a good fit, my team will reach out so we can build a game plan together. All right, now let's get back to the video.
You did something in advance, though. I mean, we all knew the winds were coming.
Right.
They were forecast 100-mile-per-hour winds.
Right.
There was fire warnings.
Right.
Right. So you did something smart, very preventative.
Right.
Where 2 days in advance, why don't you tell people what you did and how you were able to save that center from getting burned down? Because everything around it burned down,
Right.
except yours is basically standing by itself, except for the gas station that my friend owns across the street.
Well, what we were able to do is not only save our property, we saved everything on our block, and we saved everything across the street, that whole block. So there's one commercial block that's still remaining that our team saved. We learned a lot up at Miramar's. We were building Miramar up in Montecito. There was I think it was the Martin Fire, I forget what
Right.
the name of it was. And we were just in framing. I talked to one of our senior people and I said, listen, if that fire comes over the hill, the fire department, rightfully so, is gonna have all their resources to saving homes. And they're not gonna have the resources to protect us. What are our options? He came back and he said, we can hire private firefighters and have our own water tanks and have retardant. We can spray the retardant down on the framing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, do it, put the plan in place. And we mobilized during the fire up there with a private firefighting team, retardant, and our own water. So we weren't taking resources away from the city, and at the same time we were protecting ourselves. We had that plan in play at the Palisades. We knew we were building in an area that is a fire risk. We designed and built the property to make sure there was no combustible materials. What looks like wood is really concrete. We don't have vents and eaves where embers get in, things like that. So it started with a very smart design, very smart construction materials, and we had a plan on the shelf in case there was a fire. And so 2 days before, when we were getting these notices of the winds, catastrophic winds that was coming up on our phones, we deployed. And we had private firefighters, our own water, and retardant, with the same philosophy that the firefighters are gonna have to protect, and should, first protect the homes. We can take care of ourselves. And we were able to do that. And we saved, like I said, the full block, along with 8 of our own residences. But listen, it was a terrible disaster up there. I'm grateful to our team. They did an amazing job. And because of that, we're going to be able to reopen, which is giving that community hope that their town is coming back. And that is really gratifying to me, that we're going to be part of giving people not only the hope, but the will to rebuild, because it's an enormous amount of effort to rebuild that town. And we're very active up there supporting those people, as we are in Altadena and in Malibu.
There's a ton of conversation out there, as you know, especially in LA, about whose fault this was. Mm-hmm. That it was allowed to get to where it gets. I mean, so many of my friends, my daughter, we knew at Pali, 95% of the families live in the Palisades. We live in Brentwood. We got into Pali. So maybe 80% of our friends' homes burned down. And everyone's of the same mentality. It's not gonna actually burn down because there's a fire department on Sunset right next to your center, actually. Mm-hmm. I live in Brentwood. There's a fire department 0.7 miles down the street from me. I'm never thinking that our home is gonna burn down. Thankfully, we had a lot of ash, but we were fine. And no one took stuff out of their home, right? Because it's like, okay, it's just not gonna burn down. There's no way it's gonna burn down. So people didn't take their possessions, their photos.
Didn't even have time.
They didn't have time by the time they realized
Yeah.
it's going to burn. Mayor Karen Bass at fault? Is the former LAFD Commissioner Kristen Crowley at fault? Who's really to blame for this?
Well, listen, I don't think the city was prepared. It's clear the city was not prepared, and the after action report proves that. It could have been stopped. Fire never had to happen. And so we know that now. Had the city been better prepared, there wouldn't have been a fire. People would still be in their homes today. Kids would be in their schools today. And that's based on an independent report. Listen, the buck stops at the mayor. The mayor should have had the city more prepared and doing the right things and following up. And she made a decision to be out of town, but she also made a decision, apparently in lead of this, not to ask a lot of questions from the fire department, from all your agencies, from DWP. Are the reservoirs full? Do we have enough water? Are we prepared to deal with this? Did the fire that started on January 1st, is it completely out? What a lot of people maybe don't realize is the original fire that started January 1st was still smoldering. That's what reignited on the 7th. Had the fire department actually put it out and monitored it, it would not have reignited on the 7th. And therefore there wouldn't have been a fire. There would have been winds, there wouldn't have been that fire. This disaster was completely preventable. We know that now. That is just as bad as it gets to me. I mean, it's negligence at the highest level. It's beyond being unprepared.
You entered politics when you were essentially 25 years old. You were having lunch with a lobbyist.
Or with a lawyer, friend of mine.
You know, who had a badge, was on the LA
He was on the fire
department board. You said, oh, that's cool. And then at 25 years old, you became the youngest commissioner on the LAW.
Youngest commissioner in the city, in the history of the city, yeah.
You're listening to part 2 of my incredible interview with Rick Caruso, one of the most successful real estate developers in the world, whose net worth is $5.9 billion. Rick ran for mayor of Los Angeles in 2022, and on today's show, I'm hoping he's going to announce he's running for mayor again. If you haven't yet listened to part 1, be sure to check that one out first. Now, without further ado, here's part 2 of my incredible interview with Rick. Right, in the history of the city, 80-year-old, and then the history of the organization, and then the next year you became the president as well, and then years later you ran the LA Police Commissioner Board as well, right, where I think you served for 3 years. And then in 2020 you decided that you were going to run for mayor. You had talked about it years before, and then you ran, and then the word on the street was, here's Rick Caruso, billionaire, who's going to spend a lot of his own money to basically become the mayor of Los Angeles, and you're going to buy your way in. J.B. Pritzker is a law school classmate and friend of mine, and when he was running for governor, he got the same criticism. And I remember him calling me on the phone. He said, hey, Randy, I'm running for governor, and I said, I mean, he wasn't looking for money. He spent his own money. He spent $100 million of his own money, right, and heir to the Hyatt hotel fortune, for those people who don't know. And I said to him, I said, hey, JB, you're going to spend $100 million of your own money, and you're going to buy your way into the governor's office. He said, yes, I am. I said, why would you do that? He said, because I think I can make a difference to the people in my state. Tell us, you lost to Karen Bass, 52-point-something% to 47-point-something%. All of my friends were pissed because we wanted you to win.
Well, thank you.
I
appreciate that.
Yeah, we still want you to win. And what was the thought process? Why did you want to become mayor, number one? And how do you think you lost?
I wanted to become mayor because I worked for 3 mayors. I worked for Tom Bradley, I worked for Dick Reardon, I worked for Jim Hahn. And I really learned a lot, and I saw what great mayors can do. And those 3, in my opinion, were 3 really great mayors for us. And I learned the management skills necessary to manage the city, which is a very complex city. And then on top of that, what I was seeing, which all of us have seen, the city was in a state of decline. We had rising homelessness, we had rising crime, all these things were going on. And it was clear to me that all of that could be solved, given the right management, given the right leadership, all of these kind of things. And I felt confident I could do it. And I wanted to give back. I loved public service. What Tom Bradley and Dick Reardon and Jim Hahn did is they gave me really tough assignments because they trusted that I could figure it out. And they were complicated assignments. And so I wasn't worried about being able to figure out the problems of the city. So I ran. I don't think anybody buys an election. I spent my own money because I needed to get my name out there. And I was running against somebody that was well known, who'd been in politics for 30 years, whatever the case is. And I've known Karen Bass for a long, long time.
Do you like her personally?
I do. Listen, I think Karen Bass means well. It's a very different skill set to be a legislator, to be in Congress and be drafting bills, passing bills, sitting at hearings, on and on and on, than being an executive. When you're a mayor, you're an executive. When you're a governor, you're an executive, as you know. That means you've got to define goals. You've got to create a team. You've got to have expertise. You've got to have systems in place to get things done. You don't do that in the legislative side. So it was clear to me that the skill set was not matched up. And we had just went through that with Eric Garcetti, who was a legislative.
Who was on my show, who's an old friend. I met him when he was running for city council the first time.
Yeah.
And you know what he said about being mayor? He said, it's a thankless job. You have no power, essentially, to make any real decisions because you got the board of commissioners, and it's really, your main job is to really work as someone who can put together people to actually make the decision.
Couldn't disagree with him more.
Oh, couldn't disagree, okay.
Couldn't disagree with him more.
Okay.
And I think that's why he was a weak mayor.
Okay.
Because he didn't, well, he was.
He's a great guy, though.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But just because you're a weak mayor doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Just because Karen Bass has not been a good mayor doesn't mean she's a bad person. You know, that would be like if I went and decided I'm going to go do brain surgery, I'm going to do a terrible job. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
It just means my skill set isn't lined up with the job responsibilities. Eric, as a council person, that's a legislative job. To move into the mayorship, he wasn't qualified to do it. And we had huge problems, and the problems have now gotten worse. I don't think anybody in this city that I know of will honestly say the city is better today than it was 10 years ago. The city is better today than it was 5 years ago. The city is better today than it was a year ago. I don't know how you could say that. Financially, homeless, crime, do we have clean streets? Do we have safe streets? We don't have any of that. I'm saddened for the city, but I'm also so positively optimistic that all of it can change, because I do think it's the greatest city. And with the right leadership, with making some really smart decisions, the city will bounce back.
Will you announce on my show today whether you are going
What I'm
to
having
run
for lunch afterwards?
what you're having? Will you announce on my show today whether you're going to run for mayor again, or, as rumored, governor of California?
Yeah, no, I won't do that today. But there'll be an announcement soon. And it's a very tough decision because I want to do what's right and where I can be really productive. You know, I'm at the state of my life, I want to be productive and I want to give back. And I've done that my whole life. And like I said, I loved working for Tom Bradley and Dick Reardon and Jim Hahn. You can make an enormous difference. I couldn't disagree with Eric more. You can make an enormous difference. Look at what Tom Bradley did. Look at what Dick Reardon did. Look at what Jim Hahn did. They made enormous differences in this city. The mayor's got more than enough power to do a lot of great things.
So keeping it very simple, if you could just list them one by one without going into them, because I know we're getting toward the end of the show, what are 3 things that you would do as mayor of Los Angeles, the first 3 things that are different than what Karen Bass is doing?
I would enforce the laws, clean the streets, not allow drugs to be sold in our streets, which is only harming the homeless population even more. I would make the streets cleaner, safer. I'd have homeless getting into shelters and homes and giving the services that they need. And I'd bring down the cost of housing dramatically, which I know how to do. LA's become too expensive to live in, and we need to drop that cost of living in this city, which we can do. It's only gone up under her leadership. We need to turn that around.
Okay, so let's talk about the cost of homes in Los Angeles as well. It's very expensive to live here.
Yep.
If you live in the west side of Los Angeles, the average home in the Palisades was over $3 million.
Right.
California is a Democratic state. You are a Democrat. And there's something in Los Angeles that's called the mansion tax.
Right.
That essentially says if your home is over $5 million, you're taxed an extra 4.7% on the house, and if it's over $10 million, you're taxed, I think, 5.3%. The people, that's obviously very popular to the state of California, where most people don't have a house that's $5 million. So there was a tax that was passed overwhelmingly that the state estimated was going to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, and it has backfired tremendously.
Right.
Because it's put a massive damper on the number of people who want to sell their homes. That's a lot of money to pay in taxes. Would you try to get the mansion tax repealed? I know it's coming on the ballot again next year. Are you for it or are you against it?
You have to change the mansion tax. And it's not a mansion tax. And that was the sort of the great sales job.
I know.
It taxes every kind of property.
Yeah.
Office buildings, apartment buildings, industrial buildings, homes. And it has actually put cold water on the city of Los Angeles. It only applies, that ULA tax only applies in the city of Los Angeles. So what it's done is it's redlined Los Angeles. If you're going to invest money, you're going to invest money in Glendale and Culver City and in areas around us, because that tax You have to build into your pro forma, right? If you're going to build a home and sell a home, you have to add another 5% into it. So why would you do that? If you're going to build an apartment building, you have to add it back in. It makes it unattractive to have capital coming into Los Angeles because of that. So you definitely have to change it. There's no question about that. It's a bad law. I hope the amendments that are coming down through the state, and we did give a proposal to the mayor and the city of Los Angeles that we created to exempt people who have lost their homes from the tax. Because to me, I mean, that is so insane that if you've lost your home and you're forced to sell your land, you're going to pay a tax on it. You should be exempt, and hopefully they'll adopt what we gave them, because there is a way to exempt people that have been through a disaster.
Governor Newsom has suggested an asset tax.
What kind of tax?
Asset, a tax
Oh,
on
an
how
asset
much
tax.
money you have.
Okay.
Absurdity.
I don't think he proposed that.
I think
it's out there.
It's out there, but he's
Yeah.
not. The word is he's kind of. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, my understanding though is he's opposed that consistently. So I don't think he's out there supporting it, endorsing it, and I really haven't followed where that's at.
All right, I want to make sure that we covered the politics, but now since we're done with it and we still have time, I want to go back to something else, and then we'll cut this up and then we'll move this back. A lot of entrepreneurs, young professionals, are very focused on money. At some point you became a billionaire, and again, Forbes says you're worth $6 billion today. How important should money be as a motivation to working hard and being successful?
Zero. Never thought about it. I thought about and was very careful as I'm building something that it made financial sense to do it. You have to be smart about that. But in terms of, did I say to myself, I want to be worth 100 million one day, 500 million one day? No.
You never had a personal goal.
No.
Many people I know, and I did, I want to be worth $1 million by the time I was 30.
No.
I had a long-term goal, I want to be worth $10 million.
No. I never did. My goal was I want to build a certain kind of projects. I want to build quality projects. I want to build places people enjoy. I want to build places that sustain the next 100 years. I want to build a company that's dynastic, that lives well beyond me. But I never thought about the money side of it. I think you get locked into something and it's not productive, because the money's going to come. If you do your job well, you're smart about it, you continually reinvest, the money's going to come. I couldn't imagine if I said, okay, I want to be worth X, and therefore I'm going to build the Grove, but I'm going to spend a little bit less so I can make a little bit more because this is my goal. I wouldn't have the Grove. I wouldn't have the Miramar. I would never support that as part of your business plan. Make your business plan being the best in your field. Yeah, make your business plan being that you're the most innovative in your field, the most thought-provoking in your field, that you're somebody that will take a few more calculated risks and do it with great integrity. Be the most honest person in your industry. I started construction at the Grove on a handshake. The Gilmore family and myself, Hank Hilty at the time, we didn't have the contract done. We did it on a handshake, and I'm very proud of that. We live by that rule in our company. We live by a handshake, and that's the way it should be. Integrity, to me, is the most important thing in business.
People have asked me over my career, what are the most important characteristics that have made me successful? And one of them is something called extreme preparation. I'm writing a book by it as well. It means when someone prepares 1 hour for a podcast, I'll do 12 or 14. And you walk into any meeting, and the first thing I want to do is blow someone off their chair with a question, showing you've done your research. It just starts a podcast, a meeting on an entirely different level. How important has extreme preparation been to your success, and can you give us an example of one?
I'm probably not as extreme as you are. I'm impressed how extreme you are, so congratulations. I prepare, for sure. No doubt I prepare, and I expect everybody in the meeting to be prepared. But I don't know if I overly prepare. Maybe I should prepare more. You know, there is a little bit of a theory that sometimes if you're not as prepared as you should be, you sort of learn to think on your feet and whatnot. But I definitely do my homework, and I want to know the right answers. I generally know where I want to go, and I'm lucky now. I've got a really exceptional team that helps me get there. So it's not about me at all. It's about this team that I have, and they work very hard and they're very well prepared.
One of the other things that's been very helpful to me in my career has been the ability for me to earn mentors, not get mentors. And I think that's something that people really don't get. right? They want
a good way to
they
put
want to
it.
meet Randy, they want to meet Rick. I've had so many people throughout the years ask me, do I know Rick Caruso? No.
Well, now we do.
Well, now we
each
do.
other.
But you're well known. People want to come work with you. And by the way, one of the things that I hated when I was younger, when a boss would say Randy works for me,
Yeah.
it made me feel terrible, as opposed to someone, Randy working with you.
Sure.
I think there's a
Yeah.
huge difference
Huge
there.
difference. Yeah.
How does someone today who doesn't know you get Rick Caruso as a mentor?
Oh, I am so easily accessible. I get emails and we get calls in the office, and I always talk to people, especially people in college or just graduated wanting advice. I do it every week. I do it every week because there's so many people that help me. You stand on the shoulders of others. You don't get to success on your own. And so I always like paying it back, and I enjoy it, and I learn from talking to people that are in college. And I go down and I talk at universities. But when I get a random email, we'll respond to it and we'll take the call.
Did you give out your email publicly?
Yeah, you can go online at caruso.com and get my email. It's not, I'm not secretive. I'm out there, I meet people, I say hello to people. I love people. If I didn't love people, or I should say it this way, if somebody doesn't love people, you should not be in the retail development business because you'll be miserable. If you love people, you'll be delighted every day. You should not own a resort if you don't like people. I love being out there with the people. I love walking around. I love saying hello to people. It just gives me great joy and energy.
We're at the end of the show, and I always conclude my show with a game I call fill in the blank to
Oh
excellence.
my God,
Are
I
you
hate
ready?
games.
You ready to play?
I guess I have no choice, sure.
The biggest lesson I've learned in my life is
Dust yourself off and get back up when you fall.
my number one personal goal is
Have a healthy, happy family.
my number one professional goal is
To continue to build places that people enjoy.
my biggest regret is
Biggest regret is, I don't know what my biggest regret is. Probably there's people, sadly, who have, and we just lost somebody that a lot of your listeners would know, a guy named Father Greg Goethals at Rand Loyola High School, passed away at 70. I loved Father Greg. Spend more time with people that you love. I spent a lot of time with Greg, but now that he's gone, I wish I would have spent more. So spend more time with people that you love.
my biggest fear is
The happiness of the family, the wellness of the family. That's what I care about the most. My wife and my 4 kids, and my new little grandson, and my daughter-in-law, and my soon-to-be son-in-law. That's what I care about is my family.
first, congratulations.
Thank you. I know. I love being a grandpa.
The craziest thing that's happened in my career is
Success. I didn't expect it.
the funniest thing that happened in my career is
I love having funny things happen. I couldn't account for that one. There's been too many funny things. We've had a lot of fun building this business, a lot of laughs. And that's something I think that's really important. Don't be too serious. Laugh at yourself, have fun, go to work and enjoy it. And we've had so much fun in our company. A lot of fun.
the best advice I've ever received is
My dad, just be honest in everything that you do. The best advice I could give somebody, if you don't mind.
well, that's the next question.
Is it?
It
Oh my
is the
God.
next question.
Okay. I always think about it this way. This is what I give myself. Protect your obituary. And I know it sounds morbid, but you got to protect what they're going to write about you. It's something to really think about. Like, maybe even spend the time to write your own that you'd like people to say about you. And what that means is do the right thing. Just be good to people, be fair to people, be honest, just do the right thing. And life will be good. And I really do believe in karma. I think life comes around, and I think the more that you're good to people, people are good to you, and good things happen. And life is complicated, and it has twists and turns. So having close family and close friends and enjoying life to me is really critically important.
Writing your own obituary is something that I just did. I went to this organization called the Hoffman Institute, where you go for 7 days
Okay.
for mental healing and to work on yourself.
Good for you.
And one of the
I'd
things,
have to be there longer than 7 days. But
well,
go ahead.
it's the range of people who go are the youngest person was a 25-year-old whitewater rafting guide, and the oldest person was 63, And there's CEOs of big companies. You can Google this too. LeBron James has been, Katy Perry's been, but you really go and you bare your soul in front of 40 people. Everyone cries.
Wow.
You talk about all the things that you do, but you really don't think about who's coming to your funeral.
Right.
And you talk about who's coming to your, like what would the people who don't like you say at your funeral, and what would the people who love you say at your funeral, and then you have to write your own. And it really is a worthwhile experience. So it's something I've never mentioned on the show. I just got back, actually. And it's something that if someone is going through emotional trauma and just wants to get away, no phone, no email, no communication with the world other than theirs, it's something very healing to do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
If you could pick one quality that led to someone's success, it would be?
I don't know. I don't think there's any one quality. I think there's multiple qualities. But again, you have to have. I'm not giving you the answer you want, but I think you have to have a.
Like a politician.
No, I'm not trying to be a politician. I hope I'm never a politician from that standpoint. I think you have to be competent. I think you have to be really diligent, work hard. But none of that matters if you don't have integrity. And I am just such a big believer on integrity. And I have the Charlie Munger Warren Buffett rule. Don't do business with bad people. You'll never make a good deal with bad people. And I remind my team about that all the time. You can't have a contract to anticipate what's going to come at you. Life is too short to do it. And really pick good people to do business with and surround yourself with that have a high level of integrity, and things work out really great.
The most important thing that's contributed to my success is?
I think integrity. People trust what I say and that what we're going to deliver in these communities. When we say we're going to build a project you're going to be proud of and we're going to be a good neighbor in this community for a long time, we're going to do it. And if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
The one thing I've dreamt about doing for a long time but haven't is?
Learning another language. I really want to learn another language. I started to, and I was taking lessons once a week, and then January 7th hit and my lessons blew up.
What language?
Italian. I grew up around a table where Italian was spoken, so.
If I could invent one thing in the world, it would be?
Oh my goodness, there's so many good things that need to be invented. I don't know. I mean, I would invent something that helps children that are ill, that don't have the same opportunities, give people a chance to live a really productive life.
If you could go back and give your 21-year-old self one piece of advice, it would be?
Really take the time to enjoy the ride. It goes quick.
If you could meet one person in the world today, who would it be?
Jesus Christ.
If you could meet one person today who was alive, who would it be?
Well, that's interesting. I don't know. I'd have to give that one a lot of thought. I'm not quite sure who that would be. There's so many people I'd like to meet.
Give us three.
I'd have to think about it. You stumped me on that one. I have to think about that one. I don't know.
If you were the mayor of Los Angeles today, the first thing you would do is?
Safe and clean streets.
If you were the governor of California today, the first thing you would do is?
Safe and clean streets. But there's so many things. You got to drop the cost of living in this city. You got to drop it in the state. Listen, I'll end with this. When I was a young guy starting out, and I'm sure you were the same way, I had a big dream, and I was willing to work really hard. But I also felt so firmly in my mind that this city was going to give me a chance to succeed. That if I worked really hard, that I could pull myself up one rung at a time, and I could be successful. I don't think people feel that way in the city of LA anymore. I don't think people feel that way in the state anymore. That the city or the state has your back. That they're sort of, for lack of a better word, your partner helping you. And the cost of living here is what's preventing so many people from being able to pull themselves up. And we've got to give people the opportunity and the chance to do that, or you're not going to have a great city. You're not going to have a great state because people are going to leave. So that's really the top priority. And I would love to have everybody have the same opportunity that I had starting out. That you can dream big, work hard, and you could get to where you want to be. Very tough to do that now.
My last question is, what's the one question you wish I had asked you but didn't?
What's the love of my life? Tina Caruso. I just love her. I married so well, and she's just an incredible lady. And I couldn't have done what I've done without her. She's been by my side, and she's been that reasonable voice in my ear when, you know, sometimes I was unreasonable, and she is the most humble, kindest human being in the world. So she just is the best, and she's given me the greatest kids in the world.
Rick, it's a true pleasure to have you on my show. I've wanted you on here for a very long time.
Yeah, thanks
I'm
for
a
the
big
invitation.
fan. I'm a
Thank
big
you.
fan, and
appreciate
I
it.
hope you announce soon, and I hope you win. And
you.
we're all behind you. So we'll
appreciate
figure out
that.
how we're going to be able to help you.
I love that, so thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.